The Rebel Capitalist Show.
I had a mentor as an entrepreneur, and this was way back in probably 2005 or something like that. And he would always say to me, George, you got to know what you don't know. And at the time, it sounded so simple, but if you think it through, it's incredibly profound. And as I think the viewers probably hear, you're at the level at which you understand the supply chain of lumber. If they're a commodity investor or any investor, I think they're probably saying to themselves, okay, there's a lot about this that I didn't know.
Yeah.
and, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing because I think it allows you to better control your risk management in your portfolio, which is probably one of the most important things that you can do. And not only that, but educate yourself about the world around you to really highlight the fact that there are no certainties. There are no certainties. There are only probabilities. And the main reason there are no certainties is because it's just impossible for everyone to know everything or have complete information.
Yeah. And that was one of the things I had talked about on a previous video was the bullwhip effect and how a small fluctuation in demand can really create a ripple effect out there farther down the manufacturing and supply chain.
Oh yeah.
So, one of the things that I had brought up in a previous video was talking about those pipe fittings and the Fernco's. And these things are just a very simple pipe fitting that a lot of people who do groundwork, excavation, or septic tank systems and stuff, they use these rubber Fernco's to connect a 3-inch pipe to a 4-inch pipe. Very simple process to kind of continue the project on. And without them, your project kind of stalls. So here during the whole inventory breakdown of everything, these Fernco's kept coming up in short supply. Well, I had a customer come in who was looking for these things. He said he's been all over the county, could not find them. I said, well, I think I got 3 of them over here on the shelf. We go and look, sure enough, he says, I'll take all 3. And I said, well, don't you need just one? He says, yeah, but I already lost a day's worth of work. I'm not going to let that happen again. I want all 3.
Right, right.
Well, my next order comes up in just a couple of days. The computer system sees that we're out of Fernco, so it orders 3 more. Those 3 come in. Same thing happens with another customer. He comes in, buys 1, but then I had another customer who was out. He bought the other 2 saying, I don't want to be in short supply again. So here the computer system thinks we're constantly out of it. So it's going to up the order up to 8 of them. Now I got 8 on my shelf, but really I only needed 3. So I think of this for a minute. I'm like, okay, well, what if this happened at other stores in the, throughout the area or just across the nation, that people keep buying these rubber Fernco's because they were out of stock. They need them in order to do their project, and they keep buying them up. Well, the distribution networks, they just keep seeing these orders coming up, and now they see a bigger order coming up because everybody's constantly out. So they go to their national distributor saying, hey, we need more of these rubber Fernco's, and the manufacturer's going, holy moly, look at all these rubber Fernco orders that we have. We better kick up manufacturing of these things. But really, it was just a small little issue way back at the demand side where people had run out and didn't want to run out again, so they kind of hoarded up on these things, creating this kind of false demand that really didn't exist. They only needed
it's
one,
not
but
it's not that it's not that the plumbers themselves had more business.
right.
It's that they bought for a different reason, just because they didn't want to run out in the future. And that's the key, and that goes back to that detail that even the people in the supply chain didn't know. It would take someone like you that was right there in the trenches every single day to understand that.
Even the management of the store might not have even seen it if they were not aware of what sales took place in order to move those Funkos off the shelf in the first place. So yeah, there's little misunderstanding of the information, and just a little bit of movement in demand can create a big ripple effect throughout the rest of the manufacturing and distribution networks.
Yeah. And we were talking offline about how if you were a Wall Street analyst, right, and someone that was, let's say that there was a publicly traded plumbing company, and you were a Wall Street analyst, and you thought you really had an edge because you had someone on the inside at the manufacturing company for these widgets, and they told you that, oh my gosh, then they have lunch with the Wall Street analysts, let's say, and they says, oh my gosh, you don't understand, we're having to make 10 times more of these widgets than we normally have to make. So then the Wall Street analyst comes out and gives a massive buy on this plumbing company because he thinks the plumbing company's business has shot through the roof. Therefore, the next quarter, they're going to report just these incredible, incredible numbers. When in reality, it's not that the plumbing business shot through the roof. It's just that they were buying additional widgets just to prepare for a future potential supply shortage. And again, that's knowing what you don't know and the power of that.
And so you can imagine if this happens on a really big scale, like, rubber fern coats can sit on my shelf for 2 years and ain't gonna do anything. Nothing changes about them, But if it's a perishable, or if it's something that has an expiration date to it, or just kind of loses its appeal for sitting on the shelf for any kind of length of time, and you have over ordered, now what? Now you have a situation in which you have to move this product and get it off of the shelf and stuff. So then you start having like 2-for-1 deals, or just price drops, or whatever happens after that.
Yeah, so you could see these big swings back and forth just because of the distortions that we've seen in the economy from the lockdowns, really. I mean, it all goes back to the government and the central planners. And, if we would not have had those lockdowns, then most likely these issues that you're referring to, this bullwhip effect, would probably still be there, but it might not be there to the same degree. And that's, that goes right back to why communism in Russia collapsed. And the value of price signals. You and I talk about that on our videos all the time, the importance of prices because of the signals that it gives the free market and how to produce. But I don't think people truly absorb that, the importance of prices. But what you're saying right now hopefully illustrates how important those prices really are. But even the prices themselves don't give us complete, total information. And even you wouldn't have had that information unless you would have talked to the guy.
That's it.
Right? Like if you would have just been having a bad day or something.
Right.
Or,
yeah.
or
I just
here's your 3 widgets. Okay, great, whatever. You wouldn't even have known what was truly happening.
And George, you should see me at work, man. Like, I am constantly asking everybody what they're like. Buddy of mine, he comes in, he's like, yeah, my cousin is moving up here from Texas. He's tired of building down there. And I'm like, whoa, why? What's going on in Texas? Why wouldn't he want to be building down there? And he's like, no, he just doesn't want to live in Texas anymore, man.
Yeah. You try to get some insight for videos and stuff. Yeah.
What's going on? So
That
do that with everything. There's I can't even help myself to stand at the mini mart counter getting a cup of coffee without asking the guy, how's business been? How many cups of coffee have you sold today? How many chicken? Everybody has information, and I'm constantly asking them about it. I mean, it's all a matter of figuring what's going on. And so yeah, it's, to me, the information is everywhere and constant, and I'm constantly looking for it. So
yeah.
I feel like information can slip right through your fingers so fast, and it could be golden.
Yeah, for sure.